Hey, Flea fan, welcome to another episode of You
Me?
and the
The
Flea,
flea?
our first Zoom
I
interview.
know.
Hey there.
Everyone, please welcome Paul DeJohnlich. He is our manager at our Florida markets. Hi, Paul. Thanks for
Hey,
joining
ladies.
us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
We're
so happy.
super pumped. So we have a lot to talk about with you, Paul, and we're super excited. Thanks for being here,
My
as we
pleasure.
said. Okay, so first off, you have to tell everybody. Rachel just met you too, so
Yeah.
this will be nice to kind of get to know you a little bit more. But how long have you been with Swap-O-Rama, and how the heck did you get here? Did you always envision yourself as a kid working for a flea market, or what?
No, no, not at all. I answered an ad in the paper back in 2000, believe it or not,
You're joking.
and I almost wasn't gonna even go to the interview because it was way on the south side. It was 1700 South Michigan, and I lived out in Killdeer, which was 42 miles away. And I thought, gosh, I don't know, but I thought I'd go check it out. I met Edith and Phil and just fell in love with them. A couple of great people. And
Mhm.
initially, my role was to be the a computer person.
Oh my
So
gosh.
obviously, they had the flea market at that time, but they were also running a concession distribution company, which
So
was
cool.
concession services, obviously. And I was kind of mostly working with them on that in terms of the computer hardware, software, things like that. And obviously,
Very
once
cool.
Edith passed away, then the job changed a little bit, and they sold concession services, and I got a little more involved with the flea market and got a chance to learn a lot from Albert and Pat and Dina on running the three
Awesome.
markets up there, which has come in handy now because now I'm doing it down here in Florida by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think? Were you like, I mean, obviously there was different parts of the business then, so you had different aspects of it, but
Yeah.
had you like been to a flea market before? Were you
Yeah,
like,
I was up once to the 7 Mile Fair up in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
oh, cool.
So,
We haven't been
so
there yet. We've
I
been
know.
dying to
We need
yeah,
go.
to
big huge.
go.
It was a big huge one then. So but like I say, and I think I was up to like Kane County before also, which is kind of I like that's what I liked about Kane County and Webster. They're almost the same kind of principle
Really?
and premise, being on grass and out in
Mm-hmm.
a field with some pavilions and all that. So it's yeah,
Hmm.
it's kind of fun down here. It's a very like kind of like what your Peatone market was too. Out
Yeah.
with out in nature.
Yeah.
Webster's
Yeah.
in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere in a big huge flat farm field with cows and donkeys and stuff. So
No big deal. Just a little
yeah,
bit different than the
right.
In
city
the city. Yeah,
market.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
than all
Paul, we have
the
to
the
know.
live rodents that are running around your feet in Chicago.
Hey,
I actually have not
listen,
seen any.
listen, okay? We love our state bird. Okay, you cannot talk about us like that.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to tell us too, was always Florida in your plan, like retiring there, or did this just come up?
It really was a stroke of luck. I mean, I've been to Clearwater, Florida, Tampa, a whole bunch of times on vacation.
Hmm.
So, like I say, I always thought, one day I'd like to live here. And, 6 plus 7 years ago, Jacques was pretty much in charge. More Jacques was than Ted at the time. But Jacques said, we have an opening in Florida, and looked on the map where it was. And I said, yeah, count me in. So,
Let's talk Central Florida, Rachel. What do
well,
we think about Central Florida?
Uh,
there's
I
different
feel
parts
like
of
I'm
it. And
not a good
there's
person.
So
I did not
Rachel,
have a good experience,
everyone
you
for
guys.
reference, Rachel just went there. We did an episode on a recap. We went in October, obviously during
Hurricane
Hurricane
season. Yeah.
Milton. So what
Yeah.
are your thoughts on the small town vibes?
Like I feel like I can't talk on it because I didn't get to like see it in its like
Well, you want to
good
see
high
the
end
environment
prime. You know what
though,
I mean? Yeah, the environment
the small
absolutely.
town vibe,
For
and
sure. It's definitely like in the middle of nowhere. And I think the flea is like what everyone is doing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see it more on like a populated day. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
What are some of your favorite things about like the Central Florida area, Paul?
We love to obviously in the summer we hang around the pool, but we
Yeah,
like to like say there's a place a half hour from us, a really nice big huge dinner theater place that we go to once every couple of months. Local
mhm,
Central Florida theater group that always does a lot of the big plays that we go see. So we like going there.
yeah.
We ended up going to like say Clearwater Beach once every month or two and just hang out there. We were there about 2 3 weeks ago. And it was kind of sad to see that still a lot of businesses were closed from the hurricane. A lot of construction and repairs going on. And we waited. It was almost a month and a half before we went down there. And it was still sad to see just not
Yeah.
many people there at
Yeah.
all.
I can't even like imagine. When we were there, I was like, this is like the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's just
Yeah.
like you don't know what you're gonna lose, what you're gonna
Well, you
keep.
just never know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
here when the weather says, oh, it'll be cold, it's
Yep.
like, okay, well,
Oh yeah.
you just bring a layer or two.
Uh-huh.
But when
Uh-huh.
it's like, oh, it's going to be a hurricane, it's like, well, do I pack my whole life up?
Correct.
Or that was kind of our initial thing because we hadn't, obviously, this was
Yeah.
the first time we like lived through something like that. And so, is that like a big change adjustment for you?
Yeah,
Like,
that's one of the tougher things.
yeah,
It was kind of funny. This past year, obviously, I think we had like 2 or 3 hurricanes, and we just stayed
yep.
put. But the year before, literally about 3 or 4 days before the hurricane came 2 years ago, literally the little pin on the Weather Channel was literally right at my town, my house.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
thought, we asked some of the neighbors. They said, "Oh, they're going to stay. It'll miss us." Blah blah blah. Well,
Yeah.
I thought the Weather Channel and their little dots showing it's going to hit my house wasn't a good idea to stay. We went to
Yeah.
Orlando, and
Mm-hmm.
and sure enough, then we left about a day before the hurricane hit, and the hurricane followed
Hmm.
us to Orlando, and my house was fine, but we got all kinds of winds and rains in Orlando. So
Well,
you just never
that was
know.
the interest when we were there, we were at like a Dollar General and it was so interesting to see like one lady was like, "You'll be fine," and another lady was like, "You're
Literally,
gonna die."
you
And
guys need to take
we were just
cover. I'm
like,
like, then I think
it
that
was
was the
so
part for
extreme.
Christina and I that was like
Yeah.
so unsettling. It's like one person was literally like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah.
you guys you're screwed," and then the other, "But you're fine." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Are we screwed or are we fine?"
What are we doing? We were just like, I don't know what to
I
do.
was nervous that whole week.
Yeah, yeah, it really
Okay,
was. I
so
mean, and that was the second one that we or
yeah,
that was the
No,
first or the
just
second. I
crazy.
forget. No, that was the first. The second one was worse. It did a bunch of damage to the market then,
yeah, yeah,
and
that's
it
the
was
one
just
we
a
were at.
couple
Yeah,
weeks
we were
later.
at
It
the
was
one.
like,
The first one was Helene, I think,
yeah, next
which
one,
we
the
missed,
one
and then
that
we
Yep,
were
caused the
there for
damage was
Milton's.
Milton.
Yeah, jeez,
Milton.
That just,
keeping
yeah,
all the straight.
it's really, it's mentally exhausting when
Yeah,
you see the radar and the weather forecast, and they're saying, looks like we have a hurricane coming in a few days, and so you
hmm
take all your stuff in that your outside stuff and everything that you've got, you put it in the garage and all
yeah,
that, and then nothing happens, or if it does, it's minimal. You take it out a week later, and then another week after that, you got to put it all back because it's all happening again. And
I
Mm-hmm.
know.
like I
Well,
said, the
especially like,
evacuation thing is always an iffy situation. Where we live, we're about 5 or 6 miles from the coast, so we're not going to get
hmm
any storm surge, luckily. But I've got trees all around us in the around the house, and you just hate to have a lot of the trees this past year didn't really snap in half. A lot of them just totally tipped over because the
wow,
ground was wet already from a lot of previous rains we've had this summer. So a lot of trees are just literally tipping over, and you can just see from the roots tipping
yeah.
over all over the place on houses.
Well, and that's the thing too, like the infrastructure, because I mean, there, Texas, like no one was really prepared for any of these
Mm-hmm.
like big disasters too. So it's like stuff's just blowing over,
Yeah,
especially like our market that's, just kind of like, I don't even know, wood and
sheet metal,
yeah,
rough.
sheet
Yeah,
metal.
yeah,
It's like,
literally.
geez, like that'll just literally blow off.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Want to give a
crazy.
shout out to Albert News guys for coming out and helping us out a couple
Yeah,
weeks after the hurricane. We didn't have the resources or manpower to get the market up and running again, and they did a
yeah.
fantastic job. So we do
No, that's definitely
appreciate
the
the work
best
that they
part
did
is
for
just
us.
seeing everyone come together
Yeah, yeah.
afterwards, whether it's, your community or
Yep.
your neighbors. Obviously, the swap team was there, so that was really nice.
Yeah, it
I
sure
mean,
was.
overall, though, do you miss the Chicago? Do you want to come back here, Paul, or are you happy there?
Coming back for vacation or to see you guys and see my son
Yeah,
and grandkids once every year or two is
is
enough.
enough.
You just kind of get used to the lazy, laid back Florida, environment where, there's no traffic jams. Obviously, you go to Clearwater Beach and
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a
hmm
little different. We went and saw Sebastian Maniscalco a couple
Oh,
weeks
yeah.
ago at Emily Arena. And yeah, it was just like being in Chicago, stuck
Yep.
a half hour moving, 2 feet a minute for the
Yeah,
show.
You sat in a lot of traffic, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
literally.
But I did for like
Um,
20 plus years, commuting from the burbs to Chicago. So now, I've got
yeah,
a 39 or 36 mile commute, but it's literally 40 minutes door to door, like five or
right.
six lights is all I have, and I'm at work with, stress-free
Yeah, it
drive
just
in and drive
feels,
home. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. Let's talk about kind of comparing the markets from your view. So obviously we know our three markets here pretty well. What do you think are the biggest differences between Florida and the Chicago markets, for example?
The people, our people are a lot of Central Florida native people that have
Hmm.
been here all their life. We
Yeah,
do have a fair amount of transplants from up north. Obviously, this time of year, the vendors are up north. But in general, it's Central Florida people that have been there all their lives. And they sell a different type of merchandise,
hmm,
antique stuff, as opposed to, what you have at Ashland, which is kind of like, the Walmart of the flea market. You got your,
yep,
your food and your drinks and your clothes and everything else, and electronics. Well, our market is just kind of it's nice to have some neat, cool, antique things, or Christmas. I buy every year. I buy tons of Christmas decorating things. So
yeah,
it's a different environment in terms of what we're selling. Like say in Chicago, a lot of people are going to buy the stuff that they need. While
yep,
Yeah.
our vendors and visitors buy stuff that just kind of it's cool to have a
yeah,
neat sign or something like that on your on your wall, or merchandise or paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Like just for example, I bought this at the flea market. Florida
That's
Gator,
cute.
right?
nice.
Florida
I was
Gator,
gonna
little
say,
little guy I got at the
Tchotchke.
market for like probably $5.
Yeah.
Last year.
I
It's
f- I
just cool
feel like
stuff.
Florida is a really good market to find like those one of a kind items.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Totally.
big time. Like when we were there, I was just like, wow, this like cool Coke sign and just like these old glasses. Like
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like that's more in Florida than like I see here.
Yep, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, just a different needs and wants and what people can afford, there, as opposed to, it's just a little bit of a different scenario. So, but
Yeah, I
I
feel like
enjoyed
you,
my time there with meeting a lot of the vendors and all
yeah,
that, and their merchandise was different too, and but like I say, it's fun here with just a lot of the grass to walk around in and all that. It's
yeah,
doesn't it's hot obviously, but it's nice having the grass and some shade as opposed to just being on that hot asphalt in the summertime for everybody
right.
too.
Well, that too, and I feel like a lot of our vendors here are, this is what they do for a living. And I
Yeah.
feel like in Florida, they're either like retired or
Hmm.
it's a pastime or a hobby more so where, I mean, wouldn't you
Uh,
guys agree? I
100%.
just
Yeah,
feel like the vendors
exactly.
here are like, it's their livelihood
It's
to
their
sell
literal
tech
job.
supplies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
And
yeah,
feel like it's like more of like
Florida's more fun. They're a
yeah,
little bit more chatty with
it's
you.
a little
Yeah.
side biz.
Yes.
Yeah.
right,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. What's kind of tell us if I've never been to Webster, tell me a little bit of like more about it. Like what else can I expect? Do you
Well,
have
like I
like
said, you'll have at least a half-hour drive from a city, if not
yeah,
more,
so
Orlando and Tampa,
the
Ocala.
turnpike.
Mhm.
You know, a,
The good old
a,
turnpike.
of very rural, farmlands and all that. And
Hmm.
like I say, we're part of a couple different markets. There's our market, and another one next to us is the Sumter County one. And it's kind of like I said, the old West type of days, where basically you have these big, huge pavilion buildings that a lot of vendors are under there in their booths, and they're in the shade and out of the elements and all that. But the nice thing about ours, which is kind of unique, then we have about 400 to 500 spaces out in we call it the big field, which is just
Hmm.
basically out in the grass. The vendors pull their car up right to the space. They sell right out of either their trunk, or they open the doors and sell, put a tarp down or some tables, and they just sell right out of their car, like the old-fashioned days. People would, sell on the streets,
Yep.
National Street, I'm guessing, and in the old and Western days type of thing. So it kind of reminds me of that environment, just being like I say, out in the field and just selling stuff to put food on the table. So
Yeah.
it's definitely unique, unique bunch of people. They all have their unique stories and all that, and so it's a fun time. I enjoy it.
I think that's the coolest part too, is all the stories there.
Yeah.
Way more,
Yeah.
yeah, like collectors, or like you said, they come from up
All
north,
over.
and
Yeah.
it was very interesting to kind of see that. It always is. Like they're just
Yeah.
very exciting and very upbeat for sure
Yeah,
too. I
yeah,
don't know if it's the sun or
and you
what,
guys got
but
a chance to meet the motorcycle guys too, which is a whole
oh
different breed of
Oh, we
yeah, we
people
got to meet
did.
in
the
We
itself.
sure
motorcycle
met the
guys.
motorcycle guys.
They're fun too. I mean, because they're traveling from
Show
afar
to show,
usually.
which
Yeah,
is cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
It's
love
cool to see like how they just pull up, unload everything,
them.
and like get to it. And then that's it. They pack it up and they're gone to the next spot, you know?
Well, remind us too, Paul, is there still an option for if people do have an RV, if you're a seller, can you stay overnight? Is that still a thing or?
yeah, yeah. On the south
Okay.
side of the market, we do have like I say, spaces for about 30 or so RVs that people can camp overnight, sleep overnight. We've
Hmm.
had problems with the power, wires over the years, just kind of getting kind of
Yeah,
destroyed
wear and tear.
by natural the environment. And we got some quotes on getting it replaced, but it's so expensive now, and all the rules and regulations and everything.
Yeah.
So for now, we're just kind of holding tight on spending that boatload of money to get the power there. And a lot of people now have their own generators,
Yeah.
so quiet ones and all that. So it hasn't been too much of an issue. But yeah, like I say, we can have a bunch of people. If you got the big 30, 40, 50-foot long RVs, they can park on the south side of the market. Our
Hmm.
spaces are 30-foot long. So if you got an RV, motorhome, whatever, that's 30 or less, you can park in your space. We've got some RVs that will get two spaces then, and they've got, like I say, extra space to put their merchandise out. So we got all kinds of
Yeah.
options for you. We never turn anybody away for whatever reasons,
Right.
as long as they're selling them.
That's what we should do, glamping one time.
Yeah, right.
You never know when you got to sleep in your car.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
true.
mean, that's what a lot of them do. They do. It's a unique way to spend your
Yeah.
Sunday night, sleeping in the
Oh,
I
car,
mean,
yeah.
is that
with the mosquitoes
that's
biting you.
That'll
is that
humble
still
you.
pretty popular? Because I feel like when we were driving, we saw a ton of like RV kind of
Oh,
areas. Is
yeah.
that still really popular
Yeah,
there?
that's really,
Okay.
really, it's a cheap, economical way.
Yeah.
But it's not that cheap. I mean, sites are
I
four, five, six
know.
hundred bucks just for a little site, and you got to
Yeah.
pay for electricity. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
obviously it's gone up in price over the years because land is kind of valuable. But that's kind of what a lot of people will do. They won't have a $200,000 home. They'll have a 50 or $75,000 RV and
Hey,
live on a little plot of 30 by 20 land. And
times
Yeah.
are tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly. That might be my
Seriously.
move.
Yeah, and then lift it up and sell out of it too. It's like
Literally.
your business and
Christine,
your
Yeah.
I'm here. I pulled up to swap.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so Paul, what we are announcing that we are opening another day there. So now we are going to be open
Yep. Oh,
Sundays.
exciting.
How are we
Yeah.
feeling?
January 12th. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we've tried it before in the past, and it's a slow thing to try to take off. People have their own schedules on Sundays.
Hmm.
A lot of people do like to stay home, and that's their day of rest because they've gone and done other markets, or their day to just go to church type of things. So, but we've
Yeah.
got the word out to everybody. We've given them, like I say, fantastic deals for the 3 weeks in January. The vendors don't
Yeah.
have to pay a penny for their space. So we've got a lot of people really excited about giving that a try.
Yeah,
Obviously for the
exactly. Kind of building it from there and
yeah,
seeing what happens.
yeah, for the
I'm
visitors.
definitely excited. I feel like we love the weekend. Sunday's the best day in Chicago,
Yeah.
obviously. It's one of the
Right.
most bustling. So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see what happens, this go around in Florida.
I'm surprised that you say it wasn't busy when you did it before because I feel like there, like, what else you have to do?
Yeah, that's what we always said that. We were like,
There's a handful of markets that have been around, obviously doing Saturdays and Sundays for years, and so the
Mhm.
vendors are kind of accustomed to going to the three or four big ones that we have, maybe within a half hour, an hour from us. So people kind of get accustomed to that selling there and going there. So, like anything, it's a little tough to try to break into a different day type of thing. But we've got such a great following on Mondays. We're just
Yeah,
going to kind of branch backwards and do the
Sure.
Sundays. We think we're really confident this year it's going to take off and do well. We've always have people asking for us, why aren't you guys open on a Sunday?
yeah.
So we're answering their prayers, and Hopefully it'll hopefully it'll all
Hopefully it
work out for
answers
everybody.
ours too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
What
we're,
are
I'd
some
like I said, we're
like,
gonna have free entertainment for the month of January. We're gonna give away free hot dogs or
yep,
free beer, water, or soda
Oh
for the
shoot.
visitors
yeah,
and vendors.
yeah, some really
Dang.
good.
So it'll be a big party. So
Yeah, it will
they
be a
can come
good
on down
party. I'm
and
excited.
hang out at the Webster Swap-O-Rama.
Yeah,
Yeah,
baby,
for
Webster
sure.
Swap-O-Rama. The one thing that Rachel and I always get so jealous of down there is the drinks that we have some beer and White
Yep.
Claws at the Flea because
Your girls could use
your
one
girls could
after
use one
filming
here.
here.
Yeah.
Sure, I
After
know.
like 2 hours, I look at Christine. I'm like, I'll take a can of Coke.
Yeah, I guess we'll have a Diet Coke now, but so that's one thing we love about there is just like
Yeah,
how much more fun and like
Yeah,
lighthearted the Florida market feels like because of that
yeah.
little
right,
ins
right. You guys were there on a warm
incentive,
day,
Incentive.
you
but
know?
Yeah.
you guys were there on a warm day, but that was kind of a cool end of summer day. So
Yeah,
we would add about another 10 to 12 degrees more, a little more humidity, and that's what we kind of deal with from like the end of May until the end of September. So
Yeah.
totally. That's actually an interesting point too, like the weather, how it's kind of like opposite, where it's like is typically the winter months where you guys
Or
thrive,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Because all
All
the
the like,
snowbirds come down,
Yep.
beginning of like say right after Labor Day they start coming down. October
yep,
there's more here, and it's pretty much packed then by November, and they
yep.
stay until tax time in April. So yeah, it's a new breed of
That's
people,
the
and
life, you
yeah,
know?
Literally.
it is.
Can
That
you
should be our
imagine?
plan
Oh,
to Florida
serious quickly
during the winter months here.
during the cold months.
Awesome. So what else can you tell us? Do you have any fun vendor stories there? Any vendors you maybe want to shout out? Some like loyal. Oh, an interesting fact I think we've mentioned in ours is there's like almost like well, do you call them barns or what do you call like each colored shed, right?
Pavilion.
Pavilions.
Pavilion.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, okay.
sorry. So we love how colorful it is there. The
Yes.
lavender building, the yellow building, the
It's
orange,
just
like
like
maroon.
Florida.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just seems like more
Colors.
fun
Yeah.
and super like energetic, if you will.
Yeah,
Um,
we actually just painted them this past the end
yeah,
of the summer. They were just the
cool.
regular, weathered gray wood, and one day I'm thinking, they would look so much better if we just gave the posts a little bit of paint and color. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah, we were impressed on how much nicer and more vibrant it looks. So we're
it really
pleased with how
does.
that turned
Yeah, it's
out.
so fun.
But
Do
yeah, like
we?
I said, we've got a lot of say, a lot of vendors. Obviously, we in the season now we've got about 400, 300 to 400 in the big field. Three
Mm-hmm.
to probably actually 300, closer to 400 now
Oh, wow.
undercover. And yeah, we just like I say, all of them have a different story. That we like I said, when they come by and bring their stuff every day, they're always out shopping and getting new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you
The
won't see the
hunt
same
never
stuff.
stops for them, for
Seriously.
sure.
Yeah, a lot of them they'll take like I say estate sales. Somebody will pass away. The kids will say they'll call Anthony from the Yellow Building and say, hey, I've got a house that we want to sell next week, and you
Hmm.
come by and empty it all out. And he's there with his truck and his guys, and they
Yeah,
empty it all out and go through it and bring it to our market for sale. And like I say, some really cool, unique
yeah.
stuff. Lamps and mirrors and old photograph
Yep.
phonograph record playing equipment and cool stuff you saw in your
I know.
grandma's house when you were a kid 10 years
Yeah.
old, and now people are buying it saying, oh, that's kind of cool to relive my youth. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I
Yeah.
mean, we love it's very it's so interesting too though, because in the Chicagoland area, repurposing
Yeah.
DIY, all the like Gen Zers love like vintage stuff right now. It's like very cool to like thrift.
Nice.
And I wish we had more of that up here, but that's not,
Yeah.
that's not really the demographic, like
The
the amount, the
what people
products.
are
Yeah.
buying. Yeah.
Right.
But it's really fun to like see that, especially like the effort, like you said, like an old mirror. Man, a little paint can go a long way and really make a statement nowadays, especially with
Yep.
like how good quality that stuff used to
Yeah,
be, you
but
know?
even like a green glass lamp, it was kind of
Yeah,
old
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
fashioned
true.
then, and now it's like, wow, it's cool to get one of those now and put back in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, totally. Or like you'll go to a restaurant, well, in the city here, it's like we go to a restaurant and we'll see like the vintage type glasses that are like that amber color and
Yeah.
it's like hodgepodgey, but it works.
Right,
And
exactly.
a lot of those people do get their stuff from like a flea
Yeah.
market, thrift store, a Goodwill type of situation. So it's pretty cool. And I
Yeah.
love that. So my question to you is there's always like speculations and rumors that like, oh, flea markets will die. What is your like take on that? Do you think like,
They are kind of going away slowly, but unfortunately, because the land that they're on is becoming more and more valuable
yeah, true.
for developers. So that's kind of the the fall of the demise of the flea market is if you're in a spot that's maybe on the edge of a big city, somebody
Yeah,
wants to give the owners a bunch of money to say, hey, put the flea market to bed, and I'll put a bunch of
yeah.
condos or whatever there, and we can all make a bunch of money. So that's kind of what. Is happening
The
in
damn
parts of
condos.
Literally.
yeah. So
Yeah,
so like I said, the good thing is we're the last of a dying breed. We've had a handful over the years that have gone and been sold, and we've got one just up the street from us. Bevel's Corner is going to be closing. We've heard rumors about it this April. Smaller flea market of maybe 50 to 100 vendors, but they'll then come to our market and sell their wares at our market. So
yeah,
it's just a matter of attrition. Like I say, the last few standing will obviously be the classic ones that have been around for a while and people are going to still go to because everybody likes to go, out to a
hmm,
flea market and just, get some exercise, meet people, just find some new stuff that you're not going to find on Amazon. So
yeah,
I think it'll
Yeah.
exactly.
last for quite a while longer, hopefully.
I think so too. I mean, and to your point, exactly. It's like, somebody like Anthony in the Yellow Building that, buys all these things at an estate sale. Like, sure, by the time he like enters everything on eBay and sells it there and ships or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, it's like, isn't it just way easier to
Yeah.
go to a flea market type of situation, sell all your stuff and, let go
Yeah.
of it that way? I guess I
Literally.
Yeah.
think of like, when people say that like, flea markets will die because of like online sales. And maybe that's true
Yeah.
with some of the Walmart type stuff that we're saying,
Sure.
but with stuff like old antique estate type stuff,
No way.
I mean,
Where
especially
Yeah.
else
like,
are you going to
yeah,
sell that at?
unless you get like a storefront, which is way
Yeah.
more expensive, but
Yeah, like if doing it though, that's like smarter
Yeah.
and cheaper would be doing it at
Well,
exactly.
the
yeah, I
flea
mean,
market.
those how much it costs to ship those airplanes that I did that Ted's got on
Oh,
the cars.
yeah, it's a good point in
Like
our office
300,
here.
300, the cost of shipping from Florida to Chicago was more than what it was to actually purchase the items. So
Yeah.
Yep,
people are not going to be
exactly.
able to afford, doubling the cost of their merchandise to buy it from a vendor in another part of the country. They'll, keep the flea markets going because it's so much cheaper to, drive down for an hour away to your local flea market and just buy it there and put it in your car and take it home and, start admiring it right away.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any questions for Paul, Rachel?
Do I have any questions for Paul? Is there anything that like you are on the hunt for that you like look time after time and you
Do you
maybe haven't
collect
found?
anything,
Yeah.
Paul?
Like, do you collect anything?
I like collecting, like I say, some just with the holidays, Halloween stuff. We love getting that. My wife likes Easter stuff, bunnies
Oh,
and what
fun.
have you. So I'll get her
Mm-hmm.
that for Easter.
Yeah,
Obviously
so
Christmas
seasonal
and the
stuff.
Halloween and yeah. So we just
Fun.
kind of do that kind of stuff. But like I say, sometimes you just see. I should have brought a couple stuff that I just here. I got this on my desk. I mean, this is something that don't really
Oh
need
yeah,
it,
that's
but
Oh,
cool.
just
that's
kind of a
cool.
cool,
I love that.
cool
Yeah.
glass bowl. You
That's
know,
really
Like,
cool.
that I
where are you
just
gonna
saw at
buy
one of the
that?
vendors'
Yeah.
tables. Oh, well, actually, here, I do have a fair amount of stuff on my desk. I didn't realize this one here too. I
Oh.
mean, how cool is this little
Oh,
clown,
that's
Yeah, that is cool.
right?
cool.
On a
Yes.
piece of marble or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
So,
my God, we love that.
what
Nice.
else?
Do you collect any Leib Hussar?
You know, the metal, the
Oh
That's
yeah,
vintage
you
metal
have
cool.
cool
stuff.
stuff.
You guys
Okay.
have that. I know you guys have that down there,
Yeah,
but
I like
I
those.
love that.
Yeah.
yeah.
We love that kind of stuff.
Here's
No,
here's one of my
seriously, that's
favorite
all so
snowmen
unique.
that I got.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I didn't realize I got a bunch of stuff that I on my desk that I got from the market. So
Sweet. I mean, yeah, I was gonna ask what's your favorite thing you've bought from a flea market, but geez, you have
There you
pretty big
go.
of a collection.
yeah. So just like I
Love
say,
it.
I'm never really looking for something, but just you see something that catches your eye, and it's like,
Yeah,
wow.
Yep. Oh
And
yeah.
the nice
awesome.
thing is the vendors are like, they're they're like, I said, how much are you asking for it? They're like, $75, but our cost was 50. I said, well, then I'll give it to you for like, 60 or $70. I don't want
Hmm.
to,
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to, have you make no money. I said, you got to pay rent and all that. So, you make a profit. So, appreciate that they're offering to sell it at their cost, but I want them to make some money too.
Right. Well, I was going to say, I mean, that's like one thing that we love here, kind of like the haggling experience. Is it a little bit more difficult when people have like antique type stuff or stuff that they've like crafted that they're not willing to like part with for cheaper? Like, do you see
And
that
they
as
all
like
have,
more
like
of
say,
a
they've all like I
depends?
said, I mean, being a flea marketeer it's a lot of work. You go to the estate sales, you buy them, at the garage sales, whatever. You take them home, you clean them, you got to put them in your car, you wrap them all up. You get to the market on Sunday night, Monday morning, you're spending an hour unpacking everything and putting on the table. It's a lot of work
Right.
is involved, and then
Yeah,
Yep.
at the end of the day, what didn't sell, you got to pack up and do it all again for next week. So it's a lot of work involved, a lot of time. Obviously, people, know what they paid for it, and they, don't want to sell it for less than what they paid for it. Their job is to make money and support their family, or get them through the tough times. So
Right.
yeah, and people are actually willing to haggle. But I've heard from vendors, you'll ask something, people asking something for $5, and somebody will offer them $2 for it. It's like, well, if you can't afford a $5 product, then you just upset the
Yeah.
vendors, and it kind of insults them sometimes. So
for sure.
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
thinks that the stuff doesn't cost them anything. It does.
Right.
It's their time and money that's involved in it. So they have to, obviously these are all independent people who they're not corporations like the Walmarts and Best Buys and what have you. They're just mom and pop police people that are just trying to make a living, and cleaning out, like say, grandma's garage or whatever. So it's it just helps them out to buy stuff from them locally. We do appreciate it, and the vendors
Yeah.
obviously do appreciate it so
No.
much too. And then my favorite part of the day then is if I'll go around and I'll talk to some of the ones I know really well. And I say, "Oh, did you have a good day?" And they're like, "Oh my God, we had a great day. We did
Yeah,
so well
yeah.
Yeah,
today. Thank
exactly.
you for the space and blah blah blah." So that's a nice
Oh,
part of
that's
the day
Love
awesome.
where
that.
when you hear that, So yeah,
If you could describe Webster in 3 words, what would you say?
I wrote that down because I was giving it some thought.
What would you say,
Hot,
Rachel?
Webster, 3 words.
I would say fun
I would
or like
say
vibrant.
I was gonna say lively.
Yeah.
yeah,
Lively, outdoorsy,
Yep.
colorful.
One of a kind.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
What do
That's
you
kind of
have,
like I've
Paul?
got down hot, unique, and fun.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
perfect.
Hot,
Yeah,
unique,
those
and
And
fun. Are you
it doesn't
describing
sound
me
dirty
or the
either.
flea market?
are hot,
I,
unique,
I,
and
I
fun.
didn't want it to sound dirty, so that's why I kind of because I
No,
could have said
that
like
is so good.
could have said like sweaty, hot, and
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I
I
like
was
it.
gonna say it is hot
Oh, it's
there too.
hot.
It gets hot quick.
Oh,
yeah.
You'll be
yeah.
You're
okay, and
okay
then
till
like noon
about
comes
7:30, 8
around and
o'clock in
it's
the
like,
morning,
yeah,
and then after that in the summer, it's just like everything you've got on is soaking wet, so it doesn't
oh
matter
yeah.
anymore.
It's like not worth even trying at
Yeah.
that
No.
point. It was like 12 o'clock and Rachel's like, am I dripping like you're dripping? And I'm like, well, I guess we're dripping today.
We got back to
So
our hotel.
it was just
Our
soaked. Like
clothing was just all damp.
we could wring
I'm
it
like,
all
this is
and it was just
sick.
like, man,
Yeah,
this
it like
we
sticks to you,
were
right?
there in October. I don't even know what it feels like in
Good
July.
luck going with
Come
this
out.
much makeup on. We will be my mustache will be dripping the makeup off.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, any final thoughts here?
No, I still just really want to come out there when it's like in the prime. I really do. I just think just for myself to like walk around and
Yeah.
shop. I want to experience it because from what I saw when we went, it's something so great and so different than what we got here.
What are some of the top days, Paul, there? They're typically like Monday holidays, you said.
Yeah, the our biggest 5 days of the year start off with MLK Day and January 20th. February has President's Day. I think that's the 17th or the 20th
Mm-hmm.
also. Memorial Day then last Monday in the month
Labor
usually
Day,
Yeah.
yeah.
is a great day. The kind of kickoff to the summer. Last year or 2 years ago, we did have Fourth of July fall on a Monday,
Oh,
so that was a
nice.
big day for us. Labor Day then, when it starts to just slightly cool down by a degree or two,
Mm-hmm.
big
Mm-hmm.
huge day. We always got a great turnout for that. This past this past year we had, or the year before we actually had Veterans, or was it this year? I'm losing track.
Veterans Day.
Veterans
Yep,
Day was
yep. That was a
was
Monday.
was on a Monday, so we had a great turnout for that. Columbus Day is always on a Monday in October. We do well with
Yeah.
that. And last year we had Christmas on a Monday, so we were closed for the first time in the 6 years I've been there. But
Yeah.
this coming Monday is Christmas Eve, so we've got a lot of people scheduled and vendors to come to the market.
Nice.
We've got music by Eddie McConnell, a one-man band gonna give us some great country southern country rock music for us on Mondays. So yeah, fun.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Fun
goals
times.
for the Flea for 2025?
I'm saying, you say goals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, just to keep, like I say, everybody, like I say, profitable and healthy.
sure.
Obviously, that's the thing. Obviously, people are, we've had a handful of people over the last years, have passed away, unfortunately, with age, and I'm sure that happens there too. But it's sad when
Yeah.
you get to know these people really well, and
Yep.
next thing you heard, they've passed away. So kind of, it's kind of
You got
tough.
to get
So
the young folks in there.
yeah,
That's right.
You got to get
yeah,
some young sellers down there then to
exactly.
You
replace
know
them.
what to do,
Yeah, for
Paul.
sure.
Go put your crop top on.
But anyhow, so yeah, anybody
Yeah.
like say come on down there that's watching and listening up in Chicago, I'm
Yeah.
in Central Florida, Webster, Florida,
Tell them.
an hour north of Tampa, an hour west of Orlando. It's the place to be in the winter, It's,
It
it's
is
I
not a bad
love
place in
it.
the
actually. It
summer.
It is the
is. It's a
place to
fun
be.
drive. We had a good time, and you'll never know what you'll find down there.
No,
It's
you will
No,
definitely a
not.
fun time.
You will not.
All
exactly.
right. Any final thoughts, Rachel, for questions for Paul or anything? I think this was really pleasant, Paul. I'm excited to see how Sundays go, and
Yeah,
who doesn't like coming to Florida, like you said? So
I
if
think
you're
we need,
listening to
yeah,
this, it's cold here.
get your ass
Get on
down there.
down.
Also,
yeah, for sure.
we want to, let's do like a touch point in a few months and see how
Yeah.
that Sunday is
Yeah,
going.
for
I'm
Yeah, we
sure.
should.
curious to see like what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Totally.
I'll take a bunch of pictures, and yeah,
Yeah, we're
we'll hopefully
excited.
have a really great winter on Sundays, and everybody will be really excited to keep it going. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. I know the employees all are. So yeah, and the
Awesome.
vendors.
Love that.
All right. Well, cheers to a good season for you down there
Great,
now,
thanks,
because
ladies,
you're in the
for all
heart
your
of
You're in
help
the
the
and your
prime,
South.
baby.
your little 10-second videos. The visitors and vendors love them. I
Oh,
like
we're
we all
good.
like watching
Good.
We'll
them.
keep it
So
going.
appreciate it.
Nice. Well, okay, Paul, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being our
Thanks, lady.
first Zoom.
Yes,
Thank you
Yeah,
appreciate
too.
you.
so we appreciate it. And like I said, visit Paul at Webster Swap-O-Rama. He is the best and the guy to go if you need spaces or just a good time. Paul's a good time.
Paul
He'll
is
tell
a
you where
good
the
time.
pub is. He'll give you a good laugh
Yep.
and
Great.
that's it. So
As always, if you guys like this episode, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.
yeah, and thanks for listening to another episode of You
Me,
and
the Flea.
Flea.
See you next
Next
time.
week.